The next point we shall be going into the soil as resource. And as we are talking about geography, we know that the soil, how important it is for us. Because we go with the cultivation, we go with the agricultural part, and we want the soil to be very fertile. And in this also we see in the whole of India, when you are looking into, the soil in every place is not the same. As the climatic conditions change, according to the climatic conditions, according to the minerals whatever are available there, the quality of the soil changes, and according to that quality we have given separate name to the soils. We have 6 different soils, and first one we will be looking into the classification of the soil. The first one will be your alluvial soil. In this alluvial soil you will be having like the points whatever are given in the soils, whatever I am writing onto this, it is like a answer for you, so that you can have this and you can write as for 5 marks question. All the soils I have put in the form of points, and the explanation also is accordingly, so that it is easy for you to understand, and you can even take it as an answer for your examination. The first one is your alluvial soil. So alluvial soil, as we know, it is widely spread and it is very fertile land, and maximum you can see at the coastal lines and all, or at the river basins you find the soil. Generally what happens, the rivers flow and it brings lots of materials from the above side, and it keeps on depositing on the coastal areas. When the coastal areas are getting, or the river basins are getting accumulated with the soil, the land gets very fertile, and this land goes with lots of, if it is fertile, people are coming there and they are going with the cultivation. When they are going with the cultivation, definitely the people are trying to stay there. So the last point says that it is because of its fertility, they are intensively cultivated. Lots of cultivation is done there. It is very fertile. So the people also are getting accumulated there. It is getting densely populated. Generally we see these kind of soils in the northern plains and the eastern coastal plains, and we see the depositions like it is Indus, Ganga and the Brahmaputra. Rivers go with such kind of depositions because they are the rivers coming from the above or the Himalayan areas, and they bring the deposits to the lower sides. And the depositions are getting deposited, and the land is getting fertile and fertile day by day. The next soil is the black soil. By the name itself we can see it is black in color, so we call it black soil, and it is very best for your cotton growing. The soil is formed by the weathering of the igneous rocks. These rocks are formed from the lava. Whenever you have the lava being burnt, the pressure being created in that, and the lavas are expelled outside, and after that these kind of rocks are on that. When you see the atmospheric weathering going on, at that time such kind of rocks or the black soil is formed. These are seen in the northwestern part of peninsular plateaus and the Deccan lava plateaus. And you can see the states here. It is Maharashtra, Saurashtra, Malwa, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. These are the states where you find this kind of soil, and here only you can see that the cotton is well developed or it is well grown, and you can find the cotton coming and it is being exported to the other parts of the country as well as to the world. The next soil is your red and yellow soil. Here also, as the name goes on with, the soil is red in color because it is having lots of iron compounds. It is very rich in its iron compounds, and whenever it is little hydrated, at that time you can see the soil to be little yellowish in color. Or else if it is rich, very rich, at that time it is reddish, and sometimes you can see the soil to be in yellow. It develops when it is igneous rocks are coming out and it is crystalline form. It is getting crystalline there. At that time this kind of soils you can see, and it is also seen that where there are low rainfalls, at that time only these soils, or else they are getting washed off if there are high rainfalls. You can find the soils in your eastern and southeastern parts of Deccan plateaus. And the places are Orissa and Chhattisgarh. The next soil is our laterite soil, and the soil is formed by intense leaching. Leaching, where it is generally we have high temperatures and high rainfalls, and when the water comes and it has been washed off, continuously the water is being washed off, that process is known as leaching. So because of this process, because there is lots of rainfall, whatever the soil is formed, that is known as your laterite soil. And here, because we have lots of rain, so the water is being washed, the minerals are being washed off, lack of humus and moisture is available there. And it is we don't have the nutrients, it is devoid of nutrients. The nutrients are also very less in composition. And of course, when the nutrients are not there, the crop cultivation also is not possible there. But because we can go with little of our conservation techniques, we can go with tea and coffee cultivation. And in the states of Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Madhya Pradesh, Orissa and Assam, sometimes we have a lead color of laterite also, that is found in Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu and Kerala, which is suitable for your cashew nut growing. The next soil is your arid soil. Arid means it is dry. Sometimes we have semi-arid and arid soils, and it is red and brown. It is a range of color. It is from red to brown, we have the range of color. It is generally sandy in nature, and these things we find at the sides of your desert areas. It is very sandy, and sometimes it is saline in nature also. It lacks humus and moisture, and it can be cultivated if there is proper irrigation facility. It can be some crops can be cultivated there. Generally, the climate is very dry and high temperatures. Because of high temperatures, they have high evaporations, and wherever you have the waters or the coastal areas and you have this arid soils there, the salt production also is possible, because you have the water getting evaporated, and whatever the left out things, you have the salt contents, that there you have the salt production or the salt harvesting is done. And the place where you find arid soil is Rajasthan. The last point goes on with your forest and mountainous soils, as the name goes on with, that is the forest areas and the mountainous areas where you don't have the human interference there. And as the humans don't go there, we have the natural replenishment going on there. As the forest grows, whatever the animals and flora and fauna dies off, it is getting decomposed there, and the land is very fertile. When we are talking about the mountainous, obviously it is towards your hilly areas. So, and you have even, it is rainforest available in these areas only, the forest and the mountainous areas where rainforests are available. There you find such kind of soils. The textures also vary according to the environment. For example, like it is loamy and silty in the valley sides. When you have the valleys, water is flowing towards the downside, so you have it is to be very loamy. And you in the upper slopes you have coarse grained, like it is the grain is little coarse and it is little bigger in size, and in the upper slopes you have this kind of the texture is like this, the forest and mountainous soil only, but the texture is little coarse there. And for example, you can go in the Himalayan sides where it is snow covered areas and there is low humus content in that, there you can find that soil to be little acidic. So this comes to an end with your soils as a resources at the classifications of the soil. So next we shall be going into soil erosions and soil conservations. Okay, the last point goes on with your soil erosion and soil conservation, and we are looking into how the erosions goes on. What exactly the word erosion mean? Something the soil, the above soil which is fertile, is getting washed out due to some or the other reasons. The first point says about the gully erosion. Gully erosion, whenever there is a water flow or heavy rains from the slopes, when the water is running onto the slopes, gullies are formed, small gullies, like the Hindi word as we say chote galiyan hai. The same way here gullies are formed, and it is tearing off the upper surface of the soil, and the upper surface or the fertile soil is run through the gullies, and the water takes away those fertilities and it takes to the lower sides. So the upper surface is left unfertile. Now such types of lands are also known as badlands, or they are even in the local they are called as ravines, and in Chambal it is known as ravines. Then you have sheet erosions. When the water flows from the upper side, like it is the mountain sides and all, at a time when a big sheet of water or a upper layer is washed out, that is known as your sheet erosion. Wind erosion, generally this takes place in your sandy areas or desert areas where you have the winds blowing, and because of that the upper sheet of the sand is being taken away, and it forms sand dunes in the other side, depositing the whole of the upper layer to the other side.
But here the wind takes away the upper layer of your land soil, so it is getting eroded and it is left unfertile. And sometimes you can even see that the wrong method of your plowing techniques also, the people don't know how to go with the techniques and all. They use some or the other wrong methods through which the soil is getting eroded and the problem arises. To control these all things, we have to go with some or the other conservative methods. Like the other side, we can see the conservative thing saying that it is contour plowing. Contour plowing goes on with, it is at the edges of, when you have a field and to the all the sides, when you go with the plowing and you don't allow the water to run out of your field or a particular area, this is known as your contour plowing. Terrace farming, this we know it is generally in your tea and coffee plantations. We see the terrace farmings in the hilly areas, in the slope areas. The lands are cut in the stepwise and the flat surface is made so that the water is retained there and the farming can be done. Strip farming, a particular strips are used. They don't use the land, but they use a strip, and they even use the strip farming to control the water flow. And even strip farming and shelter belts in the before one also, as we have talked, these are something which control your wind flow as well, through which the wind, whatever the wind is carrying away your sands and all, even that can be controlled. As well as strip farming goes on, cropping goes on with the short plants like it is bushes, and shelter belts goes on with little long, it is big trees that will be providing shelter to the passerbys. So finally this lesson comes to an end, that is your resource and development. Hope everything was clear. Thank you.